So if you ever go online to see things, you probably see that after a big game releases from Nintendo, about 5, 6, or even 7 months later, you start hearing, oh, that game wasn't that good. We need to actually talk about it for real now. And then everyone switches up on a game after loving it when it first released. Now, after a couple of months, it's just like they hate it. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to bring up me with Tears of the Kingdom. And no, that is not the case. I actually was not a fan of Tears of the Kingdom from the very beginning. From every single trailer that we've seen, even from when the day the game came out, I said it had some fun moments and I had fun playing the game, but it never was that great to me, and I always had problems with it. So no, I never switched up. Never. Especially on a Mario game, because there's really no reason to switch up on a Mario game. Because what we've been getting these last, like, 2 decades, how in the world are we switching up? Okay, I don't understand. But anyways, if you guys don't know what's going on, so about a couple of months ago, people started switching up on Super Mario Odyssey. You know, now there's this big thing going on where everybody's like, oh, Mario Odyssey really isn't that good. Oh, Mario Odyssey's not that good at all. And everybody's like, oh, Galaxy's better. Oh, 3D World's better. They're literally now online saying Super Mario Odyssey is like worse than the majority of the 3D Mario games. I think the only one that they're saying it's better than is like Mario Sunshine, which is just straight blasphemy. Like, it is insane. I made a whole video about it. You can check it out, but like, no. Not even close. Mario Odyssey is one of the most unique 3D Mario games, period, that we've ever gotten. It has amazing world building, great music, amazing mechanics and controls, and not to mention great graphics and an amazing thing with the capture mechanic that you can actually turn and play as all these different enemies and objects and characters. It's awesome. Yes, some moons are a little easy to collect, but is that really to the point where you're thinking Odyssey is that bad? I don't think so. Listen, I can always go back and play Odyssey. I don't know how people also say that it's hard to go back and replay that game. I feel like it's harder to play a linear Mario game when you already know where to go, what to do, and all that stuff. When you have a world full of like 50, 60 moons, you can tackle it different every single time. I don't know. I feel it really easy going back to Odyssey. I love Odyssey. I will support Odyssey until I die. But today's video isn't even about Odyssey now, because now recently, and this has also happened at the beginning of this year, is people are now trashing and turning on Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Yes, I guess now pretty much every single new game that comes out, the internet finds it entertaining to just absolutely butcher after months of release, where people are now going back and saying Mario Wonder really wasn't that good. Oh gosh, what is going on? I seriously think it's just Mario drought, honestly. I think it's been so long since Odyssey, people are getting so bored and they don't know what to do with themselves for the next 3D Mario game that they're just automatically hating on anything past Mario. I don't get it. Now, I've really been starting to dive into past Nintendo games and make these really blown out like hour, 2-hour reviews, and I've already done one for Tears of the Kingdom. I am currently working on one for Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, and eventually I want to do one for this game because I feel like there's a lot to unpack here, and as it's not a perfect game, of course, it is far, and I mean far from bad. It is insane that after all of these years, fans have been begging for a switch up, for a change in the 2D Mario formula, finally to break the curse of New Super Mario Bros., and Nintendo did it. They gave us an original, brand new game with tons of playable characters, tons of new wacky worlds and levels and enemies and crazy transformations that you can turn into thanks to the Wonder Flower that completely changed the world and your character, and not to mention like 3 brand new power-ups. What else could you have asked for from this game? Now, I will say, seriously, one of my only complaints with the entire game was the boss battles. I thought they were incredibly lazy, especially after how long we waited. The fact that it was just like 4 Bowser Jr. fights and that was it was pretty bad with how creative this game was with the Wonder Flower events and all that stuff. Yeah, that's my only complaint. That and maybe the game was just a little too short and there could have been some more content. But I don't know how people are trying to say that it's a bad game at all. It's visually beautiful. I love the art style and the way it plays. The controls are snappy. Everything works perfect for a modern 2D Mario game. Why? Why are we switching up? Now, I will say, at least on the 2D side of things, it does feel like people are hating more and more, and they're calling 2D games essentially just mobile games because you only need to press 2 buttons just because it's a side scroller, which is just crazy. I guess people are trying to completely obliterate that whole genre of video game. No more 2D platformers. Like, you can't have those because it's too mobile game-like. But of course, I will admit that 2D normally doesn't sell as well as a 3D game. You know, normally when developers bring their IPs into 3D, 3D, it's normally going to be a lot bigger of a success for them. You look at things like Kirby and the Forgotten Land that sold just about 7 million copies, which is the most that any Kirby game has ever sold by a large margin, shows you that 3D is more popular. And I personally love 3D platformers a little bit more than 2D, but it's not to say that 2D should just disappear and should be underappreciated. Nintendo themselves had just come out in an investors meeting and said that they pretty much like to work on multiple projects, because if you're waiting very long periods of time for that next big game like the next 3D Mario, it might be a long wait, like 6 to 7 years. So to fill those gaps, they like to give us other titles, and that's why we don't only just have 2D Mario games, but we have 3D Mario games, 2D Mario games, 3 Mario RPGs, 4 now if you count Mario Rabbids. We have Mario spin-offs with Mario Party and the Mario sports games. There's always going to be Mario something to play as we wait for the bigger titles. And that's the same thing with Wonder. I don't think Wonder was ever meant to be looked at as like the next big 3D Mario game or anything like that. It was revealed during a summer direct and then released literally months later that fall. So yeah, it definitely wasn't seen as Nintendo by like the next huge AAA Mario game. But still, it's an incredibly fun 2D experience that cannot be denied. I mean, seriously, how much love and passion and craft that they put into some of these levels with the Wonder events and just the little animations of all the characters and stuff. It's so expressive. It's just so much love was poured out into this game. This game was slowly being made over the course of like the last 10 years and just slowly being pieced together until it was pretty much perfection. Like I said, the only real problem being the boss battles. You can't just call this game bad because of that. I mean, what is bad about this game exactly? Sometimes I can understand if there's some glaring issues, but what are the glaring issues to Super Mario Bros. Wonder? I mean, there's fun collectibles in each level. I mean, each level has some type of different Wonder effect that makes it completely different than the last level. There's some difficulty late game with some extra challenges. Why are we hating? I've been seeing on Twitter also that people were saying maybe Nintendo just needs to give us an absolutely terrible Mario game, like the next 3D Mario game being horrible, for people to finally realize what a good Mario game looks like. And I feel like we're now in the day and age where we just criticize everything. Like everything is looked at as bad. And I'm just like, what does people expect? Like, I genuinely wonder what people want this next 3D Mario game to be, because based on the rumors, it's going to be this big open world 3D Mario game, but I guarantee you it's going to be monumentally huge when it releases, and then months later, or maybe even a year later, people are going to say how it's just not good. They did it with Breath of the Wild, and I absolutely will not stand for that one. That's just no. And I also just think it's mostly because if a game doesn't cater directly to a player's needs, they're just immediately going to write it off as a bad game. For instance, Breath of the Wild changed the entire formula. It changed the game, you know, from its basic structure of linear gameplay that we've seen in the past to more of an open-ended, open-world adventure game. I know most people still kind of want to see that classic Zelda gameplay return, but you can't just write the game off as terrible because it doesn't have what you were looking for. You know, just because Super Mario Odyssey didn't have exactly what you were looking for with level design and structure, does that mean the game sucks? No. Just because Super Mario Bros. Wonder is maybe a little bit easy and has some bad boss battles, does that mean the game sucks? No? Yeah, honestly, we are living in the greatest time ever for us Nintendo fans, not to mention us Mario fans. Goodness gracious, we've been eating so good. Not to mention on one console, we got a huge brand new 3D Mario game and a finally brand new 2D Mario game that changes the formula from New Super Mario Bros. For the first time in what, like over 10 years? So let's just be happy that we've gotten these games and that finally this can help to influence the future of both 2D and 3D Mario. I think we are in a great spot, and I think things are just going to get so much better as we continue onward. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about this. Are you fed up with people getting overly mad over great Mario games? Do you understand where they're coming from? Are you more on their side? Let me know what you're thinking down below, because I'm extremely curious. I can't even put together reasoning as to why someone would say Mario Odyssey or even Mario Wonder is a bad game. Like, hearing those words just makes me cringe. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.